Good morning, everyone. On this Thursday and the second week in Lent, we're reading different writings from the Office of Readings. Today, we're reading from a treatise against heresies by St. Irenaeus. It's entitled, "Through Foreshadowing of the Future, Israel was learning reverence for God and perseverance in his service." From the beginning, God created man out of his own generosity. He chose the patriarchs to give them salvation. He took his people in hand, teaching them, unteachable as they were, to follow him. He gave them prophets, accustoming man to be his spirit and have communion with God on earth. He who stands in need of no one gave communion with himself to those who need him. Like an architect, he outlined the plan of salvation to those who sought to please him. By his own hand, he gave food in Egypt to those who did not see him. To those who were restless in the desert, he gave a perfect law suited to them. To those who entered the land of prosperity, he gave a worthy inheritance. He killed the fatted calf for those who turned to him as Father and clothed them with the finest garment. In so many ways, he was training the human race to take part in the harmonious song of salvation. For this reason, John in the book of Revelation says, "His voice was as the voice of many waters." The Spirit of God is indeed a multitude of waters, for the Father is rich and great. As the word passed among all these peoples, he provided help in generous measure for those who were obedient to him by drawing up a law that was suitable and fitting for every circumstance. He established a law for the people governing the construction of the tabernacle and the building of the temple, the choice of Levites, the sacrifices, the offerings, the rites of purification, and the rest of what belonged to worship. He himself needs none of these things. He is always filled with all that is good. Even before Moses existed, he had within himself every fragrance of all that is pleasing. Yet he sought to teach his people, always ready, though they were to return to their idols. Through many acts of indulgence, he tried to prepare them for perseverance in his service. He kept calling them to what was primary by means of what was secondary. That is, through foreshadowings to the reality, through the things of time to the things of eternity, through things of the flesh to the things of the spirit, through the earthly things to the heavenly things. As he said to Moses, "You will fashion all things according to the pattern that you saw on the mountain." For 40 days, Moses was engaged in remembering the words of God, the heavenly patterns, the spiritual images, the foreshadowings of what was to come. St. Paul says, "They drank from the rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ." After speaking of the things that are in the law, he continues, "All these things happened to them as symbols. They were written to instruct us, on whom the end of the ages has come." Though foreshadowings of the future, they were learning reverence for God and perseverance in his service. The law was therefore a school of instruction for them and a prophecy of what was to come. Words to ponder this morning. See you soon. Bye for now.